I thought it was impossible to out stupid or out crazy Marjorie Taylor Greene. But I have discovered this congresswoman. She's popped up from time to time. Her name is Harriet Hageman. Of course, she's a MAGA thumper, a triple Trumper. And this video you're about to see is one of the more breathtakingly stupid videos I've seen since 2016. And that is the lowest bar imaginable. Play the clip.
Variety of reasons, but I think another reason why we should change this to the Gulf of America versus the Gulf of Mexico is for over 40 years, the country of Mexico has been dumping raw sewage into the area near San Diego, California. And the head of the EPA, Lee Zeldin, was just there approximately 2 weeks ago. I was just in San Diego meeting with some folks down there, and they described the situation. It's absolutely a horrific situation. It is an environmental catastrophe and disaster created, and the country of Mexico absolutely refuses to address it and fix it. And has been fouling our waters for decades upon decades. It needs to be resolved. But that is another reason why we need to retake and claim ownership of this area and make sure people do know that it is the Gulf of America. We should not be rewarding Mexico for their bad acts. And that's just one example.
That sounds like a...
I can't deal with this level of stupidity. There is a person that is a congressperson of the United States of America that doesn't understand that San Diego abuts to the Pacific Ocean.
And she doesn't. I mean, she went hard.
She went hard in the paint. And I just can't, I remember when my kids were in 3rd or 4th grade, helping them with their homework, and we're studying where the oceans are.
Right.
This is just not rocket science. This is basic elementary school education. And MAGA is so stupid. And I saw on Twitter, and I think that this is so true, all of the people that want to name the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America, have never been within 50 miles of their hometown.
Oh, that's a great point. They stay right where they are. No outlook past, just right what's in front of their noses. Gosh, she's bad. She was hardly intelligible when she spoke anyway.
Speaking of stupid people within the MAGA universe, Demon Queen Scott Bessent really gets under my skin. And I just want to walk you through this whole China thing. So the United States starts a tariff war with China. Mm-hmm. China's like, fuck you. Do what you want. You need us way more than we need you. You've always been a problem for us. And so they're not bending. They're not returning phone calls. They're not returning emails. It's Heartbreak Hotel over in Washington, D.C. And all the MAGA people are acting like Trump lies. Oh, they're calling. We're talking to them all the time. We talk to China all the time. Yeah. They're dying to make a deal. They can't live without us. Blah, blah, blah. Well, here's Demon Queen Scott Bessent. I call him a Demon Queen because this man is an out of the closet homosexual that enjoys a marriage, a legal marriage to his partner and has children, yet he votes with and serves for an administration that wants to make it illegal for men like him to have children and illegal for men like him to be married. Therefore, he is, from this day forward, going to be referred to as Demon Queen Scott Bessent. All right, play the clip.
Secretary, let's fast forward a year. Where do you see the U.S. with respect to tariffs and the overarching strategy?
Mr. Chairman, this will be path dependent on our trade partners. As I've said before, there are 18 very important trading relationships. We are currently negotiating with 17 of those trading partners. China, we have not engaged in negotiations with as of yet.
There you have it.
Mm-hmm.
China is not talking to the United States, and they're not going to talk to the United States because we're like a little over 10% of their entire economy. And it's amazing to me that a lot of Chinese businessmen, a lot of Chinese academics, and just people with an normal sense of intelligence are mystified that MAGA wants to take the United States back into the dark ages. We're going to use coal and we're firing all the experts. The reason that your iPhone works, MAGA, is because of academics.
Right.
And we have we're launching a war on all of the research, and it happens at all these universities. And so the fact that we're ceding the innovative edge and being an innovative nation and an economy that favors this is jaw-dropping to most people in the world. And this demon queen, I mean, here he is. He has to tell the truth. Nobody in China wants to talk to any of them. We've been disrespectful, rude, lying liars, and started a pissing match for no damn good reason whatsoever.
Right. Trump just took a bomb and just let it go into the global economy. But what I find interesting about this is all of the Trump sycophants are out there. Oh, yeah, China's calling, China's that. China always comes back and says, we're not calling, they're lying. So I think Scott Bessent, he knew that if he lied, China was going to call them out, because Trump's like, oh, yeah, they're calling, and China's like, no, we're not. We're not calling.
All right. Next up, we have Stephen Miller, who Ron Filipkowski with the Midas Touch calls either Stephen German or German Miller or Pee Wee German, because Stephen Miller, of course, loves all things Nazi Germany. And sometimes he starts saying the quiet part out loud, and he is the chief propagandist at the White House. There's no question about it. But here he is propagandizing, and I think there's a lot of breadcrumbs to read in here. Play the clip.
People in this country, as President Trump has said, who will do nothing with their lives but rape, maim, and murder. They cannot be rehabilitated. They cannot be saved. They cannot be coached in some better way of living. They are always going to hurt. They are always going to steal. They are always going to attack. And we need a place in this country where we can send people to visually demonstrate their total separation from society. The fact that they are not going to live among us and will never live among us.
Okay. Where he said visually demonstrate, if you think about MAGA, all they talk about is just like all of these violent criminals everywhere. And so all of these people that watch Fox News sit around and they think, oh my God, I can't go outside. There's all these violent criminals everywhere. And violent crime is down. The biggest way that we could stop a lot of violent crime would be to tackle the gun issue, to tackle the poverty issue. When people live below the poverty line, crime increases, but they don't want to do that. They love the optics of incarceration porn. This is something that really turns on the base. They love the idea of locking people up and parading around criminals. This is a real Old Testament style administration, in my opinion.
Yes. And when he is describing who they're going to put on Alcatraz, I'm like, you're describing Donald Trump, your dear leader, a felon, criminal, everything he said. There were like 3 words that described Trump perfectly. I was like, put Trump on there. And Stephen Miller is the most diabolical.
Oh, he's awful. Okay. Next up, in order to have the coup go all the way over the finish line, they have to purge the military. Put up this tweet. So Natasha Bertrand tweets, Secretary of Defense Hegseth has ordered senior Pentagon leadership to cut the number of 4-star generals and admirals by at least 20% across the military, according to a memo signed by Hegseth dated Monday and obtained by CNN. Dan Winslow responds to this. This is a targeted program to remove generals and admirals and other military officers that do not align politically with Donald Trump. This way, if they ever declare martial law or invoke the military to break the law, there will be little to no resistance from non-Trumpers.
This is so terrifying. And it answers the question, why is Pete Hegseth still the Secretary of Defense with all of the intelligence that he has compromised? And now we know. Because if they want to turn the military on U.S. citizens, Pete Hegseth is all for it.
Yes, and I think that Pete Hegseth is the guy that will weed out any person in the military that has taken an oath to the Constitution. And he will make sure that everybody is taking an oath to Donald Trump. And if you think about how disrespectful that is to the military, to the country, to the intelligence of human beings at large. It's staggering, and it's so problematic that so many Americans believe that this is somehow patriotic.
Right.
That they would rather worship this con man, criminal, than serve the country at large. But lastly, I want to bring up something. Pop up this headline. Trump's former Vice President Mike Pence receives the JFK Profile in Courage. And I have some mixed feelings about this kind of stuff. And this kind of reminds me of when Kamala started trotting around with Liz Cheney. Was it a profile in courage or was it self-preservation? The mob was saying, hang Mike Pence. They wanted to fucking kill him. He had zero courage anywhere at any point in his career until they wanted to kill him. Then he finds courage. And I just have a problem with giving awards to people for doing the right thing and making it like it's such a novel thing. It's such to uphold the Constitution. Right. Now we've made it like it is this extraordinary thing to uphold the Constitution, and does that in a way lean into the MAGA narrative that it's such an outlier to uphold the Constitution. And so I have a problem. Mike Pence and all of Mitch McConnell, Liz Cheney, all of them are 1,000% in on Trump. They want all the same shit he wants. They're just not so tacky about it. Mitch McConnell's every bit as racist and homophobic and worshiper of capitalism, demeans the poor as Trump is. He just wants to be more decent about it, a little bit more quiet about it. There's very little separation in what these people believe and what they believe and what Trump believes. It's just the style of executing it. This isn't as civilized for them. They want to be civilized racists, hoodwink the public a little more. So I have a little bit of a problem with this. I think when Democrats are promoting these people for doing what's the burden on Democrats all the time, 24/7, 365, we're having a parade for Mike Pence. I just am a little off on that.
My take's a little bit different. I look at Mike Pence and I think he had zero courage the entire time he was in office. What he was not willing to do was break the law and go against the Constitution. For a public servant, that should be the lowest of bars. That should be the floor. Unfortunately, now we are in a situation where breaking the law and corruption they're outdoing each other in the Trump administration to see who can break the law more, who can go against the Constitution. So we're having to reward Mike Pence for, like you said, doing the right thing. For me, it just shows me how corrupt and illegal the actions are of the Trump administration.
Yeah. And this is an award from the JFK Center. And so I take issue with that. These are the people that we're lifting up, people that are homophobic, people that are racist, people that do not want to raise the living wage for human beings, that demonize immigrants. But he, on one issue, found Jesus on Trump, and we're giving him the Profile in Courage Award. I'm out on that. I'm out on that. I don't think that this is the person that should receive this award from the JFK Institute or whatever it is. I just think this is a dangerous play that Democrats do to try to get voters that are never, ever going to vote for Democrats to vote for them. And to me, it's so off-putting because I remember all of the horrible things that Mike Pence has said about my gay friends and trans people. And to me, that's a window into your soul. And he has never corrected the record on any of that. He's still just that dark and just that ugly and just that homophobic and just that racist, and uses his religion to justify the rich not paying taxes so the poor live poor and then get demonized by the same people that he wants to enrich. And I just think it's a moral failure across the board. So yeah, did he not vote to subvert democracy? Well, that was your fucking job.
Right. That's the least
your job
you could do.
And so, everybody's like, well, everybody gets a trophy. Well, I'm like, well, why the fuck is Mike Pence getting a trophy? He was all chips in on all this shit right up until the fact that they wanted to kill him.
Right.
And then that did it. So I take issue with a lot of that because I think the Mike Pences are more insidious.
Right.
I think their homophobia is a lot more insidious because it's a little more civilized, it's a little more quiet, gives white people a little bit more courage to keep voting that way. And so I think it's just a dangerous precedent to start awarding Liz Cheney and Mike Pence's participation trophies for participating in decency.
Right.
Yeah.
We're upholding the law.
All right. We're trying to get to 1 million subs. Subscribe. We'll see you all later.